The locals always warned about the forest beyond the hills. They called it the Howling Woods, a place where people entered but rarely returned. Jason never believed in such superstitions. He was an experienced hiker, and no ghost stories would stop him from exploring the vast wilderness. One crisp autumn afternoon he packed his bag, laced his boots, and set off toward the forbidden forest. The deeper he ventured, the more he noticed how unnaturally silent it was. There were no chirping birds, no rustling leaves, only an eerie stillness that made the air feel thick. Then he heard it. A low, guttural howl echoed through the trees, sending a chill down his spine. Jason paused, scanning his surroundings, but there was nothing, only towering trees casting long shadows. Dismissing it as a distant coyote, he continued forward. As night approached, Jason realized he had wandered further than he intended. He set up camp near a small clearing and built a fire. The warmth comforted him, but the feeling of unease never faded. The moment he lay down inside his tent, the howling began again, closer this time. A single mournful howl. Then another. And another. Soon the forest was alive with the sound of wolves. Jason held his breath, gripping his flashlight. He peeked outside the tent, his heart pounding. Just beyond the fire's glow, he saw them, dark shapes moving between the trees. Their eyes gleamed unnaturally in the flickering light, watching, waiting. Then the fire sputtered and went out. Darkness swallowed the campsite. Jason scrambled to relight it, his hands trembling, but the matches refused to spark. The howls grew closer, turning into deep, guttural growls. He could hear paws crunching the fallen leaves, circling him. Suddenly, silence. Jason's breath hitched. He turned his flashlight toward the trees and his blood ran cold. The wolves stood at the edge of the clearing, but something was wrong. They were massive, taller than any wolf should be, their limbs too long, their faces stretched into something almost human. Their eyes, deep black voids, locked onto him with unnatural intelligence. One of them stepped forward. Then another. Their mouths curled into something resembling a grin. Jason bolted. He ran blindly through the trees, branches whipping his face, lungs burning. Behind him, the creatures gave chase, their heavy footsteps thundering through the night. No matter how fast he ran, they were faster. Closer. His foot caught on a root and he crashed to the ground. He turned onto his back, breathless as the figures closed in. The leader of the pack loomed over him, lowering its face to his. A deep, gravelly voice rumbled from its throat. "You entered our woods. Now you are ours." Jason's scream was lost beneath the howling wind. The next morning there was no trace of him, only a torn backpack, deep claw marks in the dirt, and the distant echo of a wolf's mournful cry. And from that night on, when the moon was full, the howling in the woods sounded different. As if one of the voices wasn't a wolf at all.